I'm going to give you what I think are the best albums of 2025. It has been such a varied year. Some really good straight down the line pop records from huge artists, some more experimental leaning stuff from newer artists, and a lot of different genres in the pot. It's a really exciting list, and I'm going to get into it right now. If you want more best of 2025 lists or more pop music, follow me. Okay, so a lot of people have asked me how I come up with these lists, whether it's my favorite albums of 2025 or whether it's the best albums of 2025. And my answer is it's a little bit of a combination. Obviously, these things are completely subjective, so no list by anybody is really going to be the same. What I try to think about is first, what are the albums that have kept me coming back and back and back? And then what are the albums that had a really profound effect on me, but I haven't come back to so much? Because I don't think to be the best album of 2025, it necessarily has to be the most played album of 2025. And maybe I'll debunk that when I get to my number one. But the logic I come up with is I really think about what's gone into it, the lyrics, the production, obviously, what it means for the artist's career, how it's been received generally by a lot of different people, and then I think about how it's lasted with me throughout the year. There's no real answer to how this list really comes together, but there's some kind of logic. Let's start with number 20, which is Rose Gray's Louder Please. This is the debut album from the British artist, and it was such a game changer for her. It introduced her to a whole new group of people, and I think it's because this album just feels so uniquely her. It's rooted in British dance music, but it also borrows from many different places, from kind of Y2K era club music to also Eurodance as well. And it puts it all together in one of the more exuberant and exciting pop records this year. In number 19, Hayley Williams' Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party. This was delivered in kind of an odd fashion, dumped on us as a bunch of different tracks, but it's taken shape over the past couple months to arrive at this full body of work, and what a body of work it is. It feels like some of her most personal and daring songwriting. It actually just feels like an exhale for her. I already think she's one of the greatest artists on the planet, and this only furthers my feelings about that. In number 18, Florence and the Machine's Everybody Scream. This is an artist on her 6th album and still finding new ways to make the hair on our arms stand up. This one I feel like is an absolute breakthrough for her as a songwriter. It's her clearest and most vulnerable work. It feels like a wall has absolutely come down, and she's singing things that are honestly quite stunning to listen to. It is a horror-themed record, I guess, in a way, but the real horror here is the sort of atrocities of life that she's going into, and it's delivered in two different modes in a really powerful, tough way on songs like Everybody Scream, and then also a really vulnerable, gentle way on songs like Buckle. Justin Bieber's Swag. I certainly wasn't expecting to have a Justin Bieber album on the list in 2025, but this is an album that I feel like just suits his voice better than anything that he's ever done. He has arranged the most perfect producers and songwriters to elevate his artistic work and arrive at probably the most cohesive statement that he's ever made, certainly Swag 1, maybe not Swag 2. It just sounds really damn good, this album. In number 16, Olivia Dean's The Art of Loving. I think every year there is a Sunday morning record, and what I mean by this is an album that just feels so comforting to listen to, almost like a warm hug, and that is this album. It already feels like a classic, it already feels timeless, and it feels like we all already know the words. I feel like this is going to be an album that we're going to return to for many years to come as a source of comfort. In number 15, Geese's Getting Killed. They kind of arrived as the most unlikely band to reignite mainstream rock music, and it's because it is such an exciting project that's really difficult to put your finger on exactly what it does so well. It's testament to the production and the delivery of this album that a lot of the words I actually do not understand whatsoever, and yet my first listen of this I found incredibly emotionally profound. It's swelling, heart-on-sleeve rock music that also has a really adventurous spirit. In number 14, Nina Geraci's I Love My Computer. We go to Australia my home for the most exciting electronic album of the year. And this is because this is an album that trades so much in nostalgia, particularly from that kind of iPod Nano era of dance music, but then it repackages it in this really exciting, bombastic, bold and loud way that feels so uniquely Nina Geraci, while also telling a really beautiful story about her discovery of music and her journey as an artist. I think it is such a good album. In number 13, Jade's That Showbiz Baby. Jade is the ultimate student of pop music. And what I mean by this is she's just so excited about every aspect of it. There are so many different subgenres that get dealt with on this album. Everything from disco to just like straight down the line capital P pop. And every detail is meticulous. Every single little melody hits. Every single production choice or twist and turn has the right emotional effect. She's just so good at what she does. In number 12, Amare's Black Star. This is an album that I actually got the chance to preview a little bit when she played Coachella before it dropped. And she gave us a medley of tracks from it. And it just made me so excited because this is sweaty, hypnotic club music from start to finish. It takes you on a journey where it feels like you enter the club doors and you go through everything that happens within those club doors while she's exploring so many different and underrated African club sounds. It is absolute delirium, this album, in the best way. In number 11, Lord's Virgin. I feel like this album is being talked about as kind of like a reclamation of the sounds that she was dealing with on Pure Heroin or Melodrama. But for me, this feels like more. This feels like the wall between us and Lorde really dropped down. It's the most authentic, straight to the point version of herself. And there's a reason why the album cover is totally transparent, because that's how Virgin feels. And it's delivered over something that's really tough, muscular, and metallic, but also manages to just be totally real. And I think that it means that we get moments of euphoria, like Favorite Daughter, but also moments of just total like exhale, like Man of the Year. Let's get into the top 10. At number 10, we have Pink Pantheress's Fancy That. This is a mixtape with a runtime just over 20 minutes, and yet she manages to do more exciting things than almost any pop artist that released music this year. She goes back to the past of particularly British club music and then filters everything through her own very unique filter to get us to Fancy That, which feels like a visionary pop album, a really exciting, supercharged, and totally unique version of Pink Pantheress. This is an artistic breakthrough for her. In number 9, Miley Cyrus's Something Beautiful. I don't think Miley Cyrus has ever delivered a cohesive album until Something Beautiful. This is the one where her vision really came together. It plays perfectly from start to finish. It's the most ambitious thing that she's ever done. There are really like crunchy, experimental, rock-infused moments, but there's also elements of 70s soul and then also Madonna-esque dance music, and she pulls it all together in this pastiche that just makes absolute sense for Miley Cyrus, and it's an absolute crime that this album hasn't gotten the love that it deserves this year. In number 8, FKA Twigs' Eusexual. She went and found inspiration in Eastern European club music, but then managed to tie it with more straight down the line pop inspired by projects like Madonna's Ray of Light. And it just works so well for Twigs. She already has this like heady, weightless vibe to it that just suits club music so well. And this album feels totally freeing. In number 7, OK Lou's Choke Enough. This actually kind of feels like it could have been Eusexual, but it feels like she made this club pop album and then decided to just remove sounds from it until she was left with almost nothing. And that's what makes Choke Enough so exciting. It's the sparsity of it. It's almost chilling how empty this record is, and that makes it haunting and so cool to listen to. In number 6, Lady Gaga's Mayhem. 2025 will really be known as the Renaissance year for Gaga, and the most exciting thing about this album as a longtime fan of hers is that it it feels like she's made peace with her past iterations of herself and also found a version of herself to celebrate, recognizing that she made this version of pop music that nobody else can emulate. Mayhem feels like that while also introducing us to new elements of it, from kind of like 70s funk to more grungy moments as well. It is such a good moment for Gaga. In number 5, Lily Allen's West End Girl. I was not expecting to get an album from Lily Allen in 2025, let alone one as unbelievable as West End Girl. We have always celebrated Allen for her ability to tell stories with basically zero filter, but I don't know what you can say about West End Girl because there's even less of a filter. It's actually crazy to listen to this album from start to finish. It feels like watching a Netflix show. It unfolds with such precise detail and such poignant storytelling, and every single new revelation feels absolutely groundbreaking as a listener. It is so incredible. In number 4, Sabrina Carpenter's Man's Best Friend. People wanted to trash on this project when it was released because it certainly doesn't have the like sparkly pop moments that Short and Sweet did, but this is a way more cohesive project and also just shows exactly what Sabrina Carpenter can do as an artist, carving out her own sound, which goes to the 70s and pulls sort of melodic references from ABBA, but combines it with her really sharp, witty, and sarcastic songwriting. I just thought that this album was so enjoyable and the replay value has been insane for me. In number 3, Addison Rae's Addison. There was a lot of pressure on her to showcase herself as a believable musician, and yet none of that pressure makes its way onto Addison. Instead, this is a pastiche of so many different colors and genres, a kaleidoscope of who Addison Rae is as a person. It's flawed, but also really sparkly and shiny at the same time. I just feel like as a debut, it's really impossible to showcase yourself and all the sort of intricacies of yourself as a human being as well as Addison does. In number 2, Bad Bunny, Debí Tiro Más Fotos. This was an album that felt like it lit something inside of me the first time I heard it at the top of the year. It has got such a boundless energy to it, which is just so exciting as a listener. He went back to Puerto Rico, rediscovered many of the sounds that he grew up with, but also celebrated them through the lens of who he is as this superstar now. And that combination of the heritage combined with the futurism that his work has always naturally had just makes for the best project from start to finish. You learn so much about Bad Bunny, but you also have the time of your life listening to it. And in number 1, Rosalia's Lux. This was an album that perhaps had the most emotionally profound impact on me the first time that I listened to it. The only album to draw tears from me the first time that I listened to it. And it's because it just feels so unconcerned with doing anything pop focused and so concerned with like finding the meaning to life almost. And that sounds like such an intense thing to say, but that's the intensity that Lux brings. It searches for something way beyond the clouds and often finds it in just the most orchestral, grandiose, expensive sounding music. The way that she swells emotion with that incredible voice and those runs that have just gotten better and better throughout her career is just a sight to behold. The thing that I love about Lux is that Rosalía could have had this superstar moment off the back of Moto Mummy where she did something that was really more pop focused, went into English even more, and instead she made pop come to her and made music that just feels so Rosalía, and the conversation around this album immediately was so deserved. This could go down as not only one of the albums of 2025, but one of the albums of our lifetime. And that is my list of 20 albums. I'm interested to know what your favorite album of the year is. Drop it in the comments. If you want more of what I've been listening to this year, my best songs of 2025 playlist is on Spotify and Apple Music, and you can check that out in the profile.